Right now, as you listen to this, something extraordinary is happening, not in the distant stars, but right beneath our feet, or rather, right above us. NASA's Deep Lunar Scanner has detected something beneath the moon's surface that defies every known scientific model. Buried deep under the moon's southern pole lies a massive metallic anomaly stretching nearly 200 kilometers wide. Its density and structure suggest something impossible. It's not natural. In NASA's official report, the language is cautious. Words like unusual, unexpected, and under analysis. But behind closed doors, leaked communications reveal a different story. One engineer described it bluntly. It's like someone built something and then buried it under the moon. That discovery alone would be historic. But what makes this moment truly unsettling is what happened next. Just days before the anomaly was confirmed, a deep space listening array in Western Australia, part of the Breakthrough Listen network, detected a narrowband radio signal coming directly from the exact same coordinates. The signal lasted 3 minutes. It wasn't random noise. It followed a repeating mathematical structure that could only come from something designed, something intelligent. NASA brushed it off publicly, claiming it was likely interference. But the internal memo that leaked tells a different story. If this is natural, we've just discovered a natural process that imitates intelligence. To understand why this matters, we have to go back. The moon's south pole, Aitken Basin, where this anomaly lies, is one of the oldest and deepest impact craters in the entire solar system. Nearly 8 miles deep and over 1,500 miles wide, it's so ancient that some scientists believe it holds clues to how the moon itself formed. But this new discovery throws all that into chaos. According to NASA's gravity data, the buried structure is composed of extremely dense metallic material, alloys that don't occur naturally in such quantities. When modeled, its density matches refined metals, not asteroid debris. That alone forces an uncomfortable question. If this metal wasn't created by nature, who, or what, put it there? Dr. Peter Gervin, a geophysicist on NASA's research team, admitted, this anomaly shouldn't exist if the moon formed naturally. Either we misunderstand the moon, or it was altered. Altered, that word changed everything. Suddenly, what sounded like a curious finding started looking like evidence of intelligent design. And then came the second layer of the mystery, the signal. The repeating pulse came from the exact same coordinates as a buried object, but it wasn't continuous. It pulsed in rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, before disappearing completely. When analysts studied the transmission, they discovered something strange. The signal repeats at intervals that align precisely with the moon's orbit around Earth every 29.5 days. Meaning, it only activates when the moon reaches a specific alignment with the sun. It's as if something hidden beneath the surface powers up, charges, and transmits at exact intervals. That's not random. That's controlled. And that's why a growing number of astrophysicists, including members of Harvard's Galileo Project, believe this could be evidence of an ancient energy source still active beneath the moon. But the idea of technology buried beneath the moon isn't new. During the Apollo missions in the 1960s, astronauts placed seismic instruments across the lunar surface. When NASA intentionally crashed parts of spacecraft into the moon, something shocking happened. The moon rang for hours like a bell. The vibrations lasted so long that scientists at the time joked it might be hollow. That idea was dismissed for decades, until now, because the new metallic anomaly sits directly beneath the same region where those seismic readings were strongest. It's as if something dense, possibly a structure, exists under a thinner shell of lunar crust. Even ancient history hints that something about the moon isn't natural. Sumerian and Chinese records describe a time when the moon appeared suddenly brighter, as if it had moved closer to Earth. Some even suggested it wasn't always there. Modern scientists have debated the giant impact hypothesis for decades, but this discovery challenges that too. If the moon were truly the result of a collision billions of years ago, how could it contain a massive, refined metallic core structure so perfectly symmetrical? And it gets stranger. A recently published NASA radar study revealed electromagnetic reflectivity anomalies deep under the South Pole Aitken Basin. In plain English, they found something metallic reflecting radar signals in geometric patterns, straight lines, parallel tunnels, and even cylindrical cavities nearly a kilometer long. Natural formations simply don't look like that. They don't repeat, they don't align, and they don't conduct radar like industrial alloys. One anonymous NASA scientist reportedly said, "It looks built." Soon after that discovery, something else happened quietly, almost suspiciously quietly. Several private space companies, including SpaceX and Blue Origin, suddenly changed the target landing zones for their upcoming lunar missions. Publicly, they claimed it was for ice exploration. But insiders leaked that the missions are equipped with deep-penetrating radar and spectrometers, tools not for detecting ice, but for analyzing metal. Something about that area has captured the attention of the world's most powerful space organizations, and they're not saying why. Then, there's the signal again, the one scientists can't explain. Multiple observatories confirmed its recurrence every 29.5 days, right when the moon is in its ideal alignment. Even more bizarrely, during those signal bursts, magnetometers on Earth detected microfluctuations in the planet's magnetic field, synchronous with the lunar signal. In other words, something from the moon was affecting Earth's magnetosphere. If true, that means the buried object could be emitting energy powerful enough to resonate across space, subtly influencing Earth itself. A radical theory has emerged from this data, one so bold NASA refuses to address it publicly. The theory suggests that the moon isn't just orbiting Earth by coincidence. It's orbiting with purpose. The ratio of the moon's size and distance is mathematically perfect for stabilizing Earth's tilt and rotation. Without the moon, life on Earth might not even exist. So what if that isn't an accident? What if the moon was placed here deliberately to keep our planet stable, habitable, and safe? If you think that sounds like science fiction, remember this. Every piece of data so far already sounds like science fiction. The metallic core, the geometric reflections, the repeating radio signal, the gravitational inconsistencies, all of it points towards something designed, something old. And yet, NASA's public communications have gone eerily silent. There have been no press conferences, no follow-ups, no public briefings. Even the original high-resolution gravity maps have quietly disappeared from NASA's public database, replaced by lower-quality versions missing entire data columns. One researcher described it perfectly. It's like someone is rewriting the record in real time. When you trace the timeline, it becomes impossible to ignore. On 18th August, NASA detected the anomaly. On 21st August, the radio pulse was recorded. 2 days later, NASA's data servers went offline for 12 hours. On 29th August, the U.S. Space Force issued a classified directive titled Lunar Object Surveillance. Less than a week later, Harvard's Galileo project announced an increased lunar observation campaign. And then, just days after that, all the raw signal data disappeared from Breakthrough Listen's public archives. Coincidence or containment? Because what comes next could determine what we believe about our place in the universe. There are currently 3 main theories circulating within the scientific community, none of them comforting. The first is the terraformer theory, suggesting the moon was placed in orbit by an ancient civilization to stabilize Earth's environment and allow life to evolve. The second is the interstellar beacon theory, proposing that the structure is a transmitter, a galactic lighthouse meant to signal others across the stars. And the third, known as the arc hypothesis, is perhaps the most haunting, that the buried anomaly is a vault, a repository of knowledge, genetic data, or technology left behind by a civilization long gone, waiting for us to become advanced enough to find it. Each theory sounds impossible, but so does everything about this discovery. And the timing couldn't be more critical. NASA's next lunar data window opens on 31st October, when multiple probes, both private and government, will pass directly above the South Pole Aitken Basin. That's when we know whether the metallic structure is still there, whether the signal pulses again, and whether what we found beneath the moon's surface is something natural or something else. If the reflections persist, if the signal repeats, if the gravitational anomalies deepen, then humanity will have to confront the truth we've ignored for far too long. That the moon might not just be a silent observer in our sky. It might be a message, a machine, or a monument left for us to find when we were finally ready to understand it. So ask yourself this: if the moon isn't what we think it is, then who put it there? And what happens when we finally wake up enough to notice? Because one thing is certain: in the next few weeks, when those new scans arrive, the universe might finally answer a question humanity has been asking since we first looked up at the night sky. Are we alone, or have we been living under someone else's design all along?